Okay, if they have agreed, but they've not been withdrawn as at the time you fix the date.
There is no order acting as an impediment. Where in any particular area where there's an order, then of course we'll obey that court order and we'll comply with its terms.
Let's then look at what's going on in Ondo State.
Because look at this headline. I mean.
Okay, okay, go ahead, Mark. Back.
Well, I'm sure you also, review that on the front page of Daily Times. We also have it on the front page of New Telegraph. INEC will engage in electoral theft in 2019. That's been attributed to the governor of Rivers State. Are you looking that far ahead already? There is this accusation that INEC may engage in electoral theft, and that's coming from a state governor.
Well, I want to believe that it was misquoted. Well, to be an irresponsible statement to make, and if you don't back it with facts, it would be quite an irresponsible person to make that statement. But I would like to think that he was misquoted.
Do you think that does INEC take statements like that lightly, in the sense that perhaps he has information that the agency is not even aware of?
Excellent. In which case, furnish us with those facts. It's a simple matter. You furnish us with those facts and we'll investigate, and if there's anything there that we can do differently, certainly we should and we would do them differently. But we're used to political talk, but we do take statements like that seriously, yes.
Okay. Now, we're trying to go to Ondo State. There are definitely fears on what is going on there. We've seen protests trailing the acceptance of INEC of one candidate in the same party, one factional candidate over the other, yes, based on a court judgment. Yes. In Edo State, I think there was also a similar scenario where you recognized one faction, one candidate in one faction over the other, and it was saying that now you're switching factions. Does INEC recognize that there are two factions in the PDP in Ondo State, for instance?
In the sense that there are conflicting orders of court as to the rightful faction of the party, yes, in that context, yes. Let me explain something to you. In Edo State, we monitored a congress, a primary, that led to Pastor Izayamu being elected.
How did you pick the primaries to monitor?
There was only one primary then. That's the point. As at the time, we were given only one notice by the party and went ahead, on the dates that primary was fixed, went ahead to monitor the primaries of that particular party. Subsequently, the other faction gave us notice. So we have already concluded this primary, signed by the same chairman of that, when he was, I don't think there was a real dispute at that time. So we went ahead and monitored the primary and got the list. And it's the same person who went to court to say, please don't remove my name because I am the product of a good primary. It was the same person. Already accepted his name, but subsequently he was afraid that his name might be removed whichever way, so he went to court and obtained an order. In Ondo State, there are two competing things. We monitored one, which in our own opinion complied with their guidelines on the Electoral Act because it took place in Akure, which is within jurisdiction of the Ondo State. Subsequently, we got notice of another one, and that one sent us we monitored.
In other words, you already recognized Mr. Jagede before now?
Yes, we published his particulars 60 days to the election. Mm-hmm. We published his particulars as the candidate of the PDP. Mm-hmm. And subsequently, he didn't get any order then. Subsequently, we got an order to say, look, remove the name of Tayo Jagede and put the name of Jimo Ibrahim. The Federal High Court in Abuja. So we had to obey that court. Because 30 days to the election, you have to publish the list of candidates nominated to contest the election. For 60 days, 30 days earlier, you have to publish the particulars. After a list is submitted to you, initial list is submitted to you, you have to publish the particulars. But in between, parties are free to change candidates and things happen. And that's for 5 days. Once it's after that, 30 days, you must publish the list. Before that 30-day period was realized, a court order came from the Federal High Court in Abuja. And based on that, we had to publish that list. But I must point out that one or two other orders came from a state high court in Akure saying don't remove Tayo Jagede's name. Tayo Jagede is the candidate. But there was a federal high court which came before then and was reaffirmed on the eve of the publication Jimoh Ibrahim's.
So how does INEC then know which one of the, especially when there's courts of equal jurisdiction?
Yes.
How does what rule guides INEC in terms of which candidate to pick?
Now, this is a challenge before the commission, and no litigant, be it a commission, be it an individual, should be put in a position where you have to pick and choose which court order to obey. We should never be put in where he elects, and in obeying one, you disobey the other. That attacks the very fundamentals.
But you've disobeyed, you've clearly disobeyed one.
In obeying another. In obeying another. That's the problem.
Because one would have thought that, you know, you would have gone with the elections or the primaries that you monitored yourself.
That is what we did. That is what we did. Until we stopped and said, no, don't do that. Otherwise you risk going to jail. It took us to court in enforcing the initial order. It took us to court. In fact, when the Jimoh Ibrahim brought his order, we said, sorry, we don't think we can obey this order for two reasons.
So what do you say to people who say, you know, we don't have confidence, we're not sure that this Ondo elections will be free and fair?
Well, you should ask for the reasons why they say so. If it's because INEC has been ordered to put a particular candidate, then you cannot put that at the doorstep of the commission. Either you go to the judiciary, or you go to the politicians, or you go to other circumstances, because it takes a lot for you to draw that conclusion that I don't think this election will be free and fair. What are the reasons for so saying?
Mr. Olowale Uzzi, I hope I got it right. Thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily. He is the Director of Voter Education at INEC. Sunrise Daily will continue shortly. Do join us again.